Request your assistance for this month's caseload on Crimewatch UK.
Good evening. Last month's programme drew some of the best response in Crimewatch history. It was a time, of course, of tremendous public passion over the murder of the 2-year-old in Walton, James Bulger. Until the guilt or innocence has been established of those now charged with the offence, there's obviously not a great deal that we can reveal at the moment. But it is now a matter of public record that 2 boys named by several Crimewatch viewers were being questioned by police before the programme went on air. In fact, many people were being questioned. These were all routine inquiries, and detectives had no clear evidence or even strong suspicions against any individuals. But then 2 boys were re-interviewed after new information came in from viewers, and murder charges followed. Detective Superintendent Albert Kirby, leading the inquiry, says it would have taken months of conventional police work to assemble the information that came in from Crimewatch callers, and he's asked us to pass on his thanks to everyone who rang.
Our first case tonight is the murder of a 76-year-old man, killed for the sake of just a few pounds in takings at the pet shop where he worked. Arthur Broomhill had lived in Northampton all his life, and our reconstruction goes back exactly 8 weeks, to January the 21st. Arthur had worked at Denton's pet shop in Wellingborough Road for the past 11 years.
Yeah, that's a good boy, aren't you, mate? Yes, you are.
Since his retirement from running his own business, he'd made his love of animals the centre of his life.
Back to see your friends. There you are. Good boy. Night, night.
He thrived on the contact with people too, and almost everyone in the neighbourhood knew and liked him.
Well, my father was a wonderfully kind person, very gentle, quietly spoken, but a great sense of humour. We've had some very moving letters from children saying how much they loved him and how they'd bought their pets from him. Obviously it was such a great shock to my mother and myself and the rest of the family, and we're coping. But we are in a sort of limbo, simply because until the person that did this is caught, we can't have a funeral, and we're just about coping, but it's very difficult.
Thursday the 21st of January, the day Arthur died. He'd been in charge of the shop for a fortnight while the owners were away.
I got your orders for you.
Oh, that's great. Thanks a lot.
There you are.
How much do I owe you?
£3.80.
I've known Arthur for about 4 years, and he was a lovely man, very friendly, very helpful, and we always had a chat.
Very busy, yes.
Have you?
Well, the Dentons have been away, you see,
Oh,
so
have they?
I've been here all on my own, working late at night.
When he told me he'd been staying late, cashing up, I must admit I was very concerned.
No.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
It's now 5:30.
Hello there.
Oh, are you still open?
Yes, you're in luck. I was just closing.
Oh, good. Have you got any guinea pigs?
Yes, come in and have a look. Now, this is a very friendly one. Very docile. Sure you
A
like it.
male or a female?
To be honest, I don't really know.
Well, I like that one. I like that. It's a really nice one. Yeah,
Jolly
I like
good.
that.
I'll put it in a box for you.
Right, thanks very much.
Well, good night then.
Bye then. Good night.
Four hours later, Arthur was still there.
I was on my way home, and I take the same route every night, going down the Wellingborough Road. The time was somewhere between 9:30 to 10, and as I went past the pet shop, I noticed the lights was on. I saw 2 people in there. One was the shopkeeper, and it looked as if the other person was a friend or somebody that he knew.
This is the last time Arthur is known to have been seen alive. At about 10:20, round the corner from the shop, this woman was arriving home after an evening out.
As I walked across towards my house, I saw a man hanging about by Stonewright Memorials, and he looked really suspicious, and I sensed that he was watching me. He knew that I'd seen him. I actually had eye-to-eye contact with him. And after that, I sensed that he watched me all the way to the door. And as I got to my door, I looked back once more, and he was still watching me. Between 5 and 10 minutes later, I looked out of my front door, and the man had gone.
Early the next morning, another man drew the attention of several local people.
I was on the Wellingborough Road, which is right opposite the pet shop, and I happened to notice this chap on the corner, and he seemed to be acting very suspiciously. He was just peering round the Wellingborough Road as if he didn't want to be seen. It made me think that he was up to no good.
20 minutes later, a couple of streets away,
I was going down to get my newspaper like I do every morning. It's about a couple of minutes walk down to the shop and back. When I see him, I thought he was coming out to get a bus, and then he suddenly turned round and went back. Sort of didn't take a lot of notice of him the first time. I carried on down the road further to the next junction, and I see the same chap, and he was throwing something which I thought was rather peculiar. I just carried on and went and got me paper, and when I came out, he was there again. I looked straight at him. He got blood down the front of his tracksuit.
At 8:30, the assistant arrived at the shop to start work.
Morning, Arthur.
He found Arthur's body. He'd received several heavy blows to the head. Oh, Bob Thorogood, you do know what the murder weapon was?
Yes, it was a tyre lever exactly like this one. One like that is missing from the shop.
The man in the yellow tracksuit was seen throwing something. Could that have been what it was he was throwing?
Yes, it could. It was about the same length. And although where he threw it, the rubbish was cleared away, it may be that someone's taken it home. I do need to recover that quickly.
Whatever it was, even if it wasn't a tyre lever, if you saw it, please give us a ring. What description do you have exactly of the man in the yellow tracksuit?
Well, he was in his mid-30s. He was about 6 feet tall, with blonde hair, and on the morning he looked quite dishevelled.
And what about the other man in yellow seen the night before, the night that Arthur died?
Yes, of course, that was a very different yellow jacket. It was like a road worker's fluorescent jacket. And he was in his early 30s, about 5 feet 10, with short dark hair, but he was clearly a different man from the other one.
You're convinced of that. What about the description of the man seen in the shop with Arthur shortly before he died?
He was in his late teens, about 5 feet 5, with mousy brown hair.
And there'd been no forced entry into the shop?
No, that's right, there hadn't, and we believe from that Arthur may have let the person in, but there was a window open upstairs, and on the outside, on the windowsill, was a boot mark like that, a very distinctive sole.
And that was the one going out?
It looked as if it was someone going out of the shop, yes.
And you've received 2 mysterious letters?
Yes, I'm most anxious to speak to whoever wrote those letters.
If you recognise either of those letters, please get in contact again. In fact, any detail you can give to Mr. Thorogood could be vital. If you saw anything that Thursday night, it was the 21st of January, or if you know of any possible reason why anyone would want to kill Mr. Broomhill, please ring. The number here is 081 811 8181, or you can ring the Northampton Police Headquarters on 0604 700 700. That's 0604, the code for Northampton, 700 700.
Last month's reconstructions haven't led to arrests so far, although police are hopeful of finding the gunman who crippled a security guard. That was an abortive raid on a delivery van in Doncaster. Almost 250 viewers rang to help solve that one. And a promising response from Photocall. 2 good leads on one man, though we can't say much about it. The 3 others here are still being sought. Let's see if we can do rather better tonight. Here with this month's Gallery of Faces are Superintendent David Hatcher and Detective Constable Jackie Hames.
Do you recognise this man? Police from 3 forces would like to speak to him about a series of robberies at banks and building societies. Since April of last year, 17 attacks have taken place in Nottinghamshire, Leicestershire and Derbyshire. Here he is at the Woolwich Building Society in